Hello, welcome to the Manic, Pixie Dream Vlog. I'm your host, Caroline Georges, and welcome. So, I wanted to talk about mazes. I had a dream about a maze, and I never have dreams, or not dreams that I remember, really. That's the problem with my dreams, because I know I have bad dreams. I know I have nightmares. I know I wake up in the nights with cold sweats, but I never really know what it was I was dreaming about that made me wake up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat. You know, I just, the not knowing. That's a big fascination of mine, the not knowing. And mazes sort of are reminiscent of that. It's just you're going into a winding, twisting pathway. And you know you're going to get out. You know there's a way out. You know that there is an end to the maze, but you just have to keep going and going deeper and deeper into the maze until you find your way out of it. And that's like what we're going through right now with the coronavirus. We're in a maze. We're all in a maze, and we don't have the answers, and we don't know where we're going, and we don't know how we're going to get out. But there has to be a way out. The thing about strippers, this is something that I feel like people don't really realize about strippers, is strippers are very mystical people. Strippers are very, what's a good word? They're very whimsical people, you know. They're really into tarot cards, and they're really into zodiac signs and crystals and magic spells and special teas and that sort of thing. I've noticed strippers are really like that. Strippers are very, they're kind of witchy, you know, a little witchy, and I've always identified with that. You see, mazes are actually something, mazes actually became very Christianized by the Catholic Church. Mazes were pagan and became a Christian thing. And so when I don't know, I am a Christian. I don't know if you guys knew that. I am a Christian. Or like a Catholic Christian, or, you know, whatever. I just, I pray at the altar of the God of forgiveness and salvation, you know, and I think that's a good God to pray to. I think that's a good altar to pray at. And, but people criticize Christians for wearing the cross a lot. Like they don't understand why we wear the cross as like a necklace or as like a symbol, you know. But the cross is actually like it's a symbolism is that you're claiming God's salvation and forgiveness of your sins. You know what I mean? When you're wearing that cross and you're wearing that around your neck, that's what you're telling the world. You're telling the world, I'm forgiven of my sins. You know, and that's a beautiful thing. You're claiming God's salvation. And I don't know, I was always just really confused, you know, and I always, I'm still confused, and I guess that's why I've been thinking about mazes, and why I think I dreamed about a maze, because I'm confused. I'm just so confused, and I'm so alienated, and in a lot of situations in my life, and a really big one in particular, you know, that's going on with me right now, is that I'm really confused, and I feel lost, and I feel like I'm lost in a maze, and it keeps just getting more winding and more twisting, and I keep running to more dead ends and just walking the wrong way and going back the other direction and stuff, and I just feel like that's just been my life for so long, and, you know, and I just, I wanted my life to slow down. I remember sitting down and just crying and calling my dad, and I just said, Dad, my life, it just won't slow down. I'm just going 200 miles an hour, and I just can't slow down, and I'm just going nonstop, just this fast down a busy highway, and I just have to keep going and keep driving. And, you know, and then not only that, but then life gives me speeding tickets, and it's not my fault I'm going this fast, and it's like I'm getting speeding tickets for going this fast, and it's not my fault I'm going this fast, you know. But symbolism. I go on walks. I have trouble praying in my apartment sometimes. I have trouble connecting with God in my apartment sometimes. I have trouble feeling spiritual in my apartment sometimes. And so I go on walks and I pray, and I ask God to give me a sign. I was just like, God, what is going to happen with this whole coronavirus thing? Like, what's going to happen to us? Like, what's going to happen to this country? And then on my first walk, I was walking down the street, and I saw a dead squirrel that had been hit by a car. And so I was like, okay, well, that's unusual. And then, or maybe not. But then the next day, I went on another walk, and I saw something of the same thing. I saw another dead squirrel. And then on my third day, on my third walk, I saw another dead squirrel. And so those are 3 dead squirrels 3 days in a row. And so because I am a stripper, because, like, you know, I really am a stripper. Like, there's so much about me that's very, like, strippery. You know what I mean? And me being mystical, and me being kind of, you know, weird that way, I guess, is just sort of like, is totally in character for me being a stripper. You know, and I came forward, and I decided to become a sex worker activist by coming forward and talking about stripping, and it's been great for my comedy, and it's, you know, and it's really just been wonderful, and just me being, you know, able to stand on my own 2 feet and just be like, this is who I am, and I'm okay, and I'm fine, I'm happy, and I'm living my life, and you don't have to feel sorry for me, and you don't have to judge me either, you know. And you can just accept me for who I am, and who I am is a stripper, you know. And but I'm gonna be other things besides a stripper, you know. And as long as I help women, as long as I'm helping women, I've done the right thing by coming forward as a stripper. I've done the right thing, but to be honest, I regret it all the time. I regret it all the time. I regret telling people I'm a stripper all the time. And yeah, I used to be really secretive about it, and I wasn't terribly happy with myself doing that either, so I prefer this. But at the same time, I'm going to have stripper tattooed on my forehead forever. Everyone's going to know that about me forever. And so all I can do is just change the way people think about strippers, change the way people think about sex workers, and help with other women in sex work too, escorts and porn stars too, you know what I mean? Because that's the thing, that's what really bugs me about feminism and the Me Too movement, is the Me Too movement really forgot about strippers, really forgot about escorts, really forgot about porn stars. They really didn't think about us when they started addressing the issue of sexual assault in the workplace or around people that you work with, you know? The Me Too movement ignored us, and that's not okay. And it's a long journey that I'm on, and it's a huge maze that I'm on, and it's going to take me a long time to get out to the other side of this, with all my choices, with all my decisions, with how I'm choosing to move forward. So I hope you understand and don't think less of me, that I look for signs, and that I think about things in a mystical sense. Because there's so much depth and truth to that, and there was depth and truth in seeing those 3 dead squirrels on my walks. Squirrels in the animal kingdom, I looked up the symbolism of squirrels and what they mean. And they mean saving. They mean money. They mean like keeping money and saving money. And 3 dead squirrels. I mean, I guess I didn't need God to show me 3 dead squirrels in order for me to know that this country is going to go through a huge financial crisis coming up. A huge financial crisis. I didn't need to see 3 dead squirrels, but I mean, I saw 3 dead squirrels, and that confirmed something to me, that this, with what squirrels mean. That all the money that we had stored away for winter is not going to be there for us anymore after this. And you know, and I worry about stripping. I wonder what's going to happen with me in stripping, like, as the club's going to open back up, and when the clubs open back up, are people going to go to the clubs? Are people going to be scared to go to the clubs? Am I going to be able to work? Am I going to be able to make money? Am I going to be able to support myself and stuff? And it's such a maze. It really is such a maze, and that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in the maze. I don't know what's going to happen. But you don't know what's going to happen either. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're all in this maze. We're all trying to find our way out. Mazes are symbolic of looking inward. And then outward too, you know? And that's kind of interesting. That we go into a maze to look inward and to find ourselves, and then to come out of it on the other side. And, you know, and I do appreciate, you know, like, I mean, the thing is, the reason why a lot of Christians would criticize me for being sort of extending out further than things that are just purely Christian. You know, like, one of the things a hobby of mine is that I make hexes. And I used to make them, I started making them when I was 9. And I made them because I had this neighbor girl named Angela who I really hated, and I really didn't like her. So I started making hexes, and I would take the hexes and I would throw them on our yard, and to curse her. But you know, nothing ever happened to Angela. Nothing ever bad happened to Angela. You know, nothing. Those hexes didn't do anything to hurt Angela. I just needed to express my anger. I just needed to express my anger at Angela, that she was a bully, that she was a mean girl, that she wasn't nice to me. And she always bragged about all of the things that she had, because she had things, and her parents bought her things. And my single mother, couldn't buy me and my sister things. So one day, Angela rode over on her new bike, on her new pink bike, and showed me her new pink bike, and she wouldn't let me ride it. So I went inside, and I put some sticks together, and I tied them all up, and I made a shape. And then I took that hex over, and I threw it on her front yard. Take that. You know what I mean? But I still make them. I still make them to this day. And I know that's a little witchy, and I know it's not Christian. But still, I mean, like, if mazes and things like, you know, the Christmas tree and all of these things that were born of paganism that became Christian, then why not hexes? You know what I mean? So now when I make hexes, I put all of my thoughts and feelings that I'm holding about someone or something, and I put it into making a shape. And I make that shape the physical feeling that I'm experiencing, you know? And then I just, you know, I throw it into the ocean, or I burn it or something like that, or... But I don't know, do these things have power? Do these, like, things, these symbols that we create, do they have power? Do they have meaning? Do they do something? Is there magic in them? Because once, at 3 a.m, on a hot summer day, I went up onto the roof of this very building. I took off all my clothes and I danced naked. And then just all of a sudden, things just started happening. Crazy things just started happening. When I went on the roof and I danced naked to make something happen, did I take my power back, or did I give my power to other things? But what is, like, you know, I don't know, good and evil is always just really, like, what the difference is between good and evil and right and wrong and love and hate has always just really escaped me. Sometimes I really don't know the difference. But I like myself, and I like that I think this way, and I find depth and truth and meaning in thinking this way and seeing 3 dead squirrels on my walks, you know what I mean? If I find meaning, if I find depth, if I find truth in that, then that's what matters. But we're all different. We're all different kinds of people. You know, and I never really got to go to a good college, you know? I never really got to go to a good school. And, I don't know. But life has just taught me other ways, you know what I mean? I found an education in other ways, and the education that I was lacking with only going to and with only getting an associate's degree, I found an education in other ways. I've read just as many books, if not more, as any Harvard College graduate. I've read just as many books, if not more. And just because I didn't have some, like, far left liberal professor shoving his dogma down my throat for 4 years for me to get a piece of paper that says I can do a job, you know what I mean? Does that mean I'm less educated? I've gotten so many skills other ways. I realized I can't influence people. I don't think that's something I can do. I can't influence people. I can only present my ideas and be as seductive in the presentation as possible in order to convey myself, in order to, communicate myself to other people. I have to seduce, you know what I mean? That's what I learned. I think a lot of women would be better off if they learned that you can't influence people, you can't influence men, you have to seduce them. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you. I remember when I was 17 and I went to a party and I did a tequila shot off of this boy's stomach. And this guy was like 25 years old, by the way. And I did a tequila shot out of his belly button. And his girlfriend, who was like in her 20s too, she flipped out at me, and she told me she wanted to kick my ass, and she told me she wanted to beat me up, and then everybody else at the party kind of like calmed her down and talked her down and stuff, and said we were all having fun, and everyone was just having fun, and then I was told to do it, and then I was coaxed into doing it, and I was encouraged to do it. But what does that mean? Why wasn't the girl pissed at her boyfriend? Why was the girl attacking me? Why was the girl angry at me? What did I do? I just feel like I'm just taking blame. You know what I mean? Where I don't think I deserve it. I feel like I'm being judged when I don't feel like I deserve to be judged. And I feel like I'm being judged by people who have no right to judge me. And I'm just in this maze, and I'm really lost, and I wonder if I'm ever going to come out the other end with just knowing what I really want to know. I wonder what's going to happen with this thing with my sexual assailant, and if I really did damage my career by coming forward and speaking out against him. But I know in my heart my intentions were good, and my intentions were just, and my intentions were to do the right thing. I knew I couldn't just do nothing. And I knew the right thing was to do something about it. So will I still lose work in comedy? Will I still lose connections in comedy? Will I still lose allies in comedy? Because I tried to do the right thing. And time and again, as history has showed us, the people that have tried to do the right thing have often fallen, and have fallen so far that they wound up dead before they lived to see justice, before they lived to see good, before they lived to see the end of the maze. So many people have died in alienation and confusion, lost in the maze. And will that happen to me? I do struggle with suicidal thoughts. And they say that suicidal thoughts are what you experience when you just don't know any other way out. out of the maze. You don't know how to get out of the maze, and you're just tired of being in the maze. And you just went out of the maze so badly. You just wanted it all to be over so badly. But God put me on this earth to live my life. And I'm just going to do my damnedest. I'm just going to do my best. I'm just going to do everything that I can to look inward. And find my way out of the maze and to the other side. But what's waiting for me at the other side? What's waiting for me? I have a boyfriend. I know, again. And I don't he wants to help me. He's really just been my knight in shining armor through this whole thing. He really came into my life at a time where I really needed him, and I needed him to get through quarantine. He's well off enough, wealthy enough that money isn't an option, so the money that I need to get through quarantine, he's happy to give me. But what do I do? I don't love him. And I don't know if I ever will. And I feel like I'm in something that I've always felt trapped in all my life, is to play this role of being a good girl, of being a good girlfriend, of being the thing somebody can come home to that puts a steak on the table. You know what I mean? And I know I keep mentioning Blade Runner 2049 as a reference point, but I mean, that movie just really, I mean, it says so much meaning. It really meant so much to me. Because the main character, who's played by Ryan Gosling, his girlfriend is an AI program who's not real, and she only tells him all of the things that he wants to hear. She's not real. She doesn't have a soul. Am I selling my soul by being with somebody that I don't really love? But then I think about it again, and it's like so many women have had to marry men that they don't really love. So many women have had to be with men that they don't really love. That's been the fate of so many women. That was the fate of my mother. I grew up very aware that I was born not out of love, but out of need. My mother needed someone to take care of her, and she found my dad to do it. And she didn't love him. I am the product of a desperate teenager, of a desperate teenage girl who married a man she didn't love because she needed to survive. how can I judge a situation that created me? You know what I mean? That brought me into existence. How can I judge a situation like that and think it's bad when it's the reason why I exist? And this man that I'm with, my boyfriend, he's a good man and he takes care of me. He dotes on me. He's provided me with my every need. And I think I started praying sometimes, just like, God, just let me love him. Just let me love him. Just let it, like, just let me fall in love with him. And that would solve all my problems. That would solve so many of my problems. If I could just love this guy, it would solve so many of my problems, so many of the problems I have right now. And just, I could get out of the maze if I just loved this guy. I could find my way out of the maze if I just loved this guy. But I'm in love with somebody else, I so confusing. And I want answers. And I want to understand. And I just want out of the maze. I want out of it. And I can't get out. And I never will, maybe. Maybe I never will. Is that an earthquake? What the fuck just happened? Did you see that? It started shaking. What the fuck? Okay, well, I guess maybe there's a little bit of an earthquake there, but that's Los Angeles for you. And it is the end of the world, so it's about time, honestly. This all needs to come crumbling down to the ground anyway. But, anywho, everything is finally slowed down for me. Everything is just slowed down. And everybody has had to slow down with me, and we're all in this together. And with the quarantine, it really bothers me that people are like, judging the people that are protesting, when it's like these people like are out of options. They need to protest because they need to get back to their lives, because their lives are going to be ruined if they don't. It's amazing to me how many people don't empathize with that. It's amazing to me. People should empathize with that. I heard a story about a guy who had a small business, and he had to go and he had to lay off all of his employees, and he went home and he shot himself in the head. That happened because of the COVID-19 virus, and because of quarantine, and because of what's been going on with the businesses. So many businesses are going to have to close. That's the end of the maze for some people, is that they come out of the maze. They come out of all this confusion and alienation and fear without their business, without the things that they worked their life. You see, the thing is, if life isn't fair to those people, then how can I expect life to be fair to me? And if life isn't going to be fair to me, then maybe that's just life, and I just have to accept it. Maybe there is no way out of the maze, and maybe just life is a maze, and maybe the only way out of it is through death. Can I marry somebody? My boyfriend, he's already told me he's in love with me. He's already told me he's in love with me. He's in love with me. And he has money. He could take care of me. I could get off the pole finally. You know what I mean? I could get treatment. I could get help. I could focus on working as a personal trainer and doing comedy. I could just, start my life over with this guy, Is it a way out of the maze? Anywho, well, that's my vlog for today. Like and subscribe and share. And y'all don't share this. Oh my god. Like, let's keep this small. I like my 100 followers and just the subscribers, and I like the amount of views that I'm getting, and just I think if I got anyways, I just feel like it's my chance to be real when I don't always have that chance to be real. I can be real, you know? And that's what matters. But I want something real. I want love that's real. I want a connection that's real. I want chemistry that's real. When all my life, it's not much of what I've had with men. Anywho, well, that's my vlog for today. Like and subscribe. Don't share this. All right, thanks. Have a nice night. Bye.